Ada, Namaste. Why do millions gather every year to mourn a man martyred 1346 years ago? As Muharram begins, let's talk about Azadari, the heart of this mourning. Azadari is a Persian word. Aza means grief and lamentation, together bearing that grief, actively carrying sorrow, refusing to let it fade. This is not passive sadness, it is an intentional act of remembrance, a declaration that the loss mattered, that this injustice must never be forgotten. How old is Azadari, you might ask? It began with the survivors themselves. After the Battle of Karbala, Bibi Zainab and the women and children of Imam Husain al-Islam's family were taken captive, marched through Kufa, paraded into Damascus. Their public khutbahs, the people, that was the first Azadari. And then came a moment that took Azadari beyond grief into something even more powerful. In the court of Yazid in Damascus, Bibi Zainab stood before the man who had ordered the killing of her brother. She was a captive, he was on the throne. His court surrounded her, but she was undeterred. She spoke. She was Binte Ali. She named every martyr publicly. She declared his victory a disgrace. She told him to his face that history would remember him as the oppressor. She refused, absolutely refused to bow down. That was not just grief. This was grief transformed into truth-telling, into the preservation of history itself. Yazid wanted silence. She gave him the opposite. And here is the profound point. Without that khutbah in Damascus, without the mourning afterwards when they were released, the story of Karbala might have been buried, rewritten, forgotten. Every majlis held today, every marsiya recited, every Muharram gathering is an echo of what Bibi Zainab did in that court and later. She did not just mourn Karbala, she preserved it. How did a family's grief become a civilization's remembrance? Imam Zainul Abidin al-Islam, the sole surviving adult male from Karbala, carried the grief forward through prayer, through witness, through memory. His supplications in the Sahifa Sajjadiya are saturated with the name and sorrow of his father. From him, the living tradition passed down through generations. Then came a moment that changed history. It is the year 963 CE, Baghdad, the heart of the Islamic world. The Buyid dynasty has come to power, and their Wazir Muizuddaulah makes a decision no ruler had made before this. He declares the 10th of Muharram, Ashura, a day of public mourning for all. Think about what that meant. For over 3 centuries, the grief of Karbala had been carried quietly, privately, at personal risk. Bibi Zainab's words had been passed from heart to heart in whispers behind closed doors. And now, for the first time, the market closed. The city stopped. People came into the streets together, openly, and wept for Imam Husain al-Islam. It was an emotional earthquake. 300 years of suppressed grief finally had permission to be heard. What Bibi Zainab had declared in one tyrant's court was now declared in the open air of the world's greatest city. That day in Baghdad, Azadari became the world's remembrance. How did Azadari reach every corner of the world? In Safavid, Iran, the 16th century gave Azadari its structured forms: majlis, tazia, lamentation, poetry, organized at a state level. In the Indian subcontinent, it took on its own Hindustani soul. The Nawabs of Lucknow built Imam Badas. Poets like Mir Anis and Mir Dabir raised the marsiya into one of the highest forms of Urdu literature. Grief transformed into art, exactly as Bibi Zainab had transformed it into testimony. And today, from Iran and Iraq to Trinidad and Toronto, Hyderabad to Houston, every community adds its own voice. The forms differ, the heart does not. And why does it matter? Because it keeps moral memory alive. Every year the story is retold, the names are spoken, the choices are confronted. Azadari is a yearly return to conscience, reminding us who we are and who we want to be. Bibi Zainab made sure that it would never be allowed to forget. And through Azadari, he continues to speak to us every generation. This is